Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome to Midnight Mandela. So it's a small miracle. My computer actually is mostly working. In fact, it did try to play a scam on me because the setting that I fixed last week was already unset, and I did fix it though. I checked for it earlier today and got it. So whatever that audio thing, it's like it's not saving the settings or something when it turns off all of a sudden. So that was weird. But anyway, I did check the audio and I checked the video earlier today, and then I checked them 5 minutes ago. So we should be good. You should be hearing me. Fingers, I rebooted it early this morning. I'm like totally on top of it for like once in the millennia already. You have to know that there must have been a Mandela Effect shift just for that to be true. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? DD74 is in. Shari is in. Vivian Mercier. Joe Bloor. Oh, I think that's Unmanned Animal. I'm like not as late as normal today, so some of you guys might be showing up late, assuming I'll be late. Austin 108 is in. Yeah, so I'm sure you all heard that Bob Barker died again for the nth time. So I just put him on the thumbnail. I figure if Mandela makes him alive again and then die again after all these times, then what are they going to do with my thumbnail? Like the Mandela's going to have to like delete the whole show. Well, actually that would be bad, wouldn't it? Or like change the thumbnail or something. So I thought it would be fun to put it on there. But maybe, maybe deep inside my inner self knows that this is the last rebirth and death, and then it is safe to be on the thumbnail. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if there's something secret at work when I'm deciding, because I was going to do this other plant for the thumbnail, and at the last minute I went, no, I'm going to do Bob Barker. In fact, you may notice that I got the show up late, the warning bell for when the show is on. I almost forgot, which is why I was going to do this plant, and then I got busy, and about 20 minutes ago I'm like, dope, I haven't even started the show yet. All right, so let's see. That's everybody. Yeah, so I don't know. I am not like the total expert on the alive agains a lot of times because I just don't follow Hollywood anymore. But I thought I remembered Bob Barker being a Mandela Effect years ago as an alive again. And they were already saying, wait, he already died that time. I thought, now this is not something I'd swear on. It could actually be that I'm remembering wrong, as much as, that's kind of a sinful thing to say sometimes in the community. But yeah, I'm not sure on it. But I see that like 90% of the planet thinks he already died. I mean, even non-Mandela people are like, what? I thought he died. So I'm pretty sure that this is probably one of our stronger Mandelas in a while. He was yeah, maybe when you die at 99, then you're really dead. What was that Golden Girls woman who was, what's her name, White? She was another alive and then dead again. And she died at 99 right before her 100-year anniversary show for, so maybe that's the new thing. You make it till you're 99. My timeline, how I remember stuff, is divided into migrating to different countries, and then before the Emmy and after the Emmy, and before the pandemic and after the pandemic. That's kind of how it is for me. But obviously, I don't migrate countries that much. But I'll be like, okay, what office location was I at? So there's like before high school, after high school, before college, after college, when I lived in LA, when I lived in San Diego. Then when I lived in the house, the guest house versus when I lived here. And then there's when my work was at the other location versus when it was at this location. So that's how I remember stuff. I'm like, okay, I worked over here when that hit. And then it's funny how the brain like parses things out that way. So all I have to know is the dates of those things. And then I'll know, well, it was sometime when I was already here, lived over here. Anden Croft, $5. Thank you. Woo! Appreciate it. I was in college in the late 1990s and still watched stupid Adam Sandler movies, and Bob had just been in half. Yeah, yeah, that is kind of the thing. Yeah. So there's before the pandemic, during the big part of the pandemic, and then there's like kind of after it all settled down. So there's another divider. Um, I have a funny story about, I don't know, like I had this boss and he was pretty mature, and him and his wife were going to a movie, and they're like, "Oh, do you want to just come?" Because we were all pretty chummy, and I'm like, "Okay." And it turned out to be an Adam Sandler movie. And I learned that I was shocked because I didn't think he would like really bad Adam Sandler movies. And, it was like one of the worst movies I've ever saw, and it's probably because I just don't like that kind of movie. And I'm like thinking maybe he'll want to leave, and no, he was having the best time. He thought it was the funniest movie. Like, oh my God, shoot me now. And comedy is not your style. It is miserable. Like, either you like comedy or you want to like run screaming. And let's see. It was 9. Yeah, okay. Timeline, blah, blah. Oh, and Andon gave me another 5. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I need to, like, I don't know. I'm sure everybody's having it now, but, I had to move to that more expensive place. And then business is way down. And so I'm not like, for a while, I'm like, I have plenty of money. Now I'm like, oh, you got to be careful. Yeah, it's just not my style of humor. Adam Sandler and Dumb and Dumber, didn't like that movie. Everybody's got their thing. That just wasn't mine. All right, so I don't have a lot this time, and there's actually lucky I didn't finish them last week because I didn't really get too many more, and I did spend some time looking, and I swear there's no time left in the day because, like, every week I'm like, I'm going to start preparing for the show earlier today so that I don't run out of time at the end of the day to still do some regular work. And you know what? I started earlier and I still did not get done in like earlier. So I don't know what's wrong with, I swear I looked less. I started earlier and yet I got further behind. You ever get that feeling? It's like no matter how fast you run on the treadmill goes faster. That's how I feel like time is now. I have just one Mandela. Well, let's hear it, Shari. Because I got a few, but they're not that exciting. I think I just have this one that and I didn't even like really research. I mean, I know they're legit, but I didn't do hardly any research on it. Anyways, well, I'll just put that one. I was going to do this one. It's like it's called doll eyeball plant. I was going to put this one as the thumbnail, but I always have plants on, so I'm like, okay, I'll put Bob Barker instead. Doll eyeball plant. I've never seen this one before. Baneberry or doll eyeball plant. They look like creepy reverse olives or something. They're white, but they're poisonous, so don't be eating them. Everybody knows what trillium is. I've never seen them before, especially residents of Ontario. The fact that trilliums are not very plentiful and only bloom briefly undoubtedly adds to their charm. If they're not plentiful and they only bloom briefly, then how come everybody knows what they are? Does everybody here know what trillium is? This is Canada, so okay, maybe everybody knows what trillium is in Canada. But when a trillium plant is done flowering, nobody knows what a trillium plant looks like. Everybody knows what it is, but nobody knows what it looks like. This article is giving me brain strain here. Its leaves are plain with no recognizable distinctive features. Trilliums bloom early in spring before leaves form on the trees. Soon after trilliums flower, the forest floor produces so much foliage that it seems to swallow the humble trillium leaves. All right, so Trillium isn't baneberry or is baneberry? Another such plant is the little known white baneberry. Okay, maybe baneberry isn't Trillium. This article is really hurting my brain. Grows 18 inches from forming a loose ground cover. All right, so those are fruit clusters. But nobody sees the fruit until it turns white. When late summer arrives, fruit become milky white, 1/3 of an inch long with a tiny black dot. Each berry is borne on a stalky pink stem, which turns bright red. Baneberry's common name or nickname is doll's eyes. Think twice about uprooting baneberry and transplanting it in your yard. Like trilliums, they won't do well in an urban setting. All right, I'm pretty sure they were saying it was poisonous, though, somewhere. Somewhere. So what, they start as red and then they turn white, apparently, or something? Actaia pachypoda. So they were saying the range seemed to be like the northern regions. Shade. Fruit appear July to September. Berries are poisonous. Keep away from young plants and pets. No eating of the doll eyes. All right, it does look like they start out red and then turn white, which is kind of weird, actually. Oh, there's a white one and a red one. Sometimes, but the red one sometimes bears white fruit as well? Oh, that's different. There's a white one and a red one, but the red one might also make white ones. True white ones have thicker pedicles than the red ones. You can recognize the berries by little buttons on their ends. They have been used in the past for children's dolls. Found in the northern temperate zones of North America and Eurasia. In Montana, it's most likely to be spotted in the southern and western parts of the state. So yeah, North America, apparently large chunks of America, United States style. All parts are poisonous. Symptoms include the usual: vomiting, diarrhea, blah, blah, blah. But it can also stop your heart, so don't eat it. That said, don't eat it. That said, people have been eating this plant for thousands of years. Why is it that all these articles are hurting my brain? It's poisonous, don't eat it. It can stop your heart, but people have been eating it for thousands of years. To treat rheumatism, coughs, and colds, and to improve the appetite. It is said to increase milk production after childbirth and decrease excessive menstrual bleeding. A poultice of chewed leaves was used to soothe wounds, and there are several references to it being ingested to soothe stomach pains caused from swallowing hair. What? Who swallows enough hair that they have to eat poison to feel better? Is that a nope? There's no link on the okay. But once again, unless you're a trained professional, which I'm sure nobody is, please don't eat it. Even eating just a few berries can cause severe pain, and a few more can cause respiratory failure and cardiac arrest. Not poisonous to livestock. Sheep and horses will graze on it. Elk will eat the foliage. Makes an excellent woodland garden perennial. Plants are not hard to find at nurseries. Okay, I don't know. Anybody ever heard of that stuff? Is it me, or does like every article just not make sense anymore? Maybe they always didn't make sense, but I didn't notice how much? Trillium is different. Okay, yeah, you're right, Shari. I just thought it, there's like 10 names for those, so I'm like, okay, Trillium must be another one. Googly eyes. Unobtainium. Okay, let's see. I think that's Shari's strange Mandanimal coming up here. Let me just catch up with the other chit chat. See, yeah, I don't know. I went with my other friend to Dumb and Dumber, and that's another one where I'm like, this movie is so dumb. It was like, oh, when can we leave? And she's over there laughing her head off, and I'm like, oh god, no dumb comedies for me, obviously. Although I like some of the British ones, they have a different style of dumb, and it's a little more funny for me. Oh yeah, I forgot Super Blue Moon. Yes, I was gonna mention that. There's a lot of people going super blue moons. Like every year we have some new colored moon. You know, the red moon and the harvest moon and the something moon, and this year it's the blue moon. Like blue moon. I'm like, are we gonna? When do we get to the timeline when we actually see those colors? Because there's gonna be some whole scientific hoo ha. Put that down. I did mean to put that. Okay, now I should have crappy audio. I think you can hear me now. All right, I don't know what's going on. So that happened in the middle of the show. So you know that I didn't change any settings because I have not touched anything. So it looks like then just this computer randomly stops. Um, it just randomly stops. It actually looks like the mic is not working. Now, I would blame it on the mic, but I think it's the connection because we've had problems with the video randomly not working, and now we're having problems with the mic randomly not working. That sounds like it's actually the computer that is randomly not working. Let me just see if it comes back. See, right here, there should be an option for the mic, and it ain't there. And it's not Realtek, it's what do you call these darn things? This microphone is the one in the computer. So I think you can hear me now, right? But it's all crappy. You can't hear it good because it's not going through the main mic anymore. It's going through the computer's built-in mic. Because the main mic is not showing. Okay, I don't know when Dark Wolves is in. Yes, we have nothing. I don't know what I'm gonna have. I'm gonna have to get a new computer, and I just don't have money for that. So I've got to think about this. I might be able to play it from work next time because we do have a good computer there. And if I took that one to here, then I wouldn't have one at work. I don't know. It's just complicated. This is why money is good. The thing is, you can't just buy a $200 crappy computer and then run the show off it because it doesn't have enough power to run OBS studios and stream and do all that, and then hold a bunch of windows open and like that. That's the problem. Because, it's easy to get a couple $100 computer, but you've got to like cough up for a good one. And I have a feeling that this computer is just losing its ability to run everything. See, like here. Yeah, see, it's not showing the mic anymore. And then it goes to default, which sucks. All right. Anyway, hopefully it's not too bad. But... All right, where did I stop talking then? Did I stop talking on Markio somewhere, like and Katie did? When did you stop hearing from me? When is it? Was Blue Moon? All right. Okay, we're talking about eyeball berries. Maybe poisons means psychoactive or psychedelic. Yeah, it didn't say that. It said stops your heart, so that's not good. I mean, I already read it, so you heard all that. Well, I don't know if you heard all that, but yeah. So they're saying that those eyeball berries, that would be a good guess. You would think that eyeball berries might be psychoactive because that would just kind of fit with the whole, like, theme of eyeballs. But they're currently saying that they help with stomach pains, although they're a poison. I don't know. Articles are poorly written because proofreaders don't exist anymore. I don't know. I thought that, but then I'm like, maybe AIs are writing these, or I mean, it's not just that half the articles suck. It's just like so many of them suck. I don't know. Maybe people just can't concentrate anymore. All right, so we were talking about maybe blue moon means no sound. All right, so we got it back. So Dark Wolf, my mic is not show. It was fine, and then it just cut out, and I had that happen last week. But it happened when I wasn't on air, and then I fixed it at the beginning of the show. So it's not the mic. Nobody touched the mic. There seems to be a problem with the computer not recognizing the mic intermittently. So last time I went and poked and poked and poked on the mic, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the mic. The computer has started to intermittently not recognize the camera, and then it doesn't recognize the mic, and then the settings change. It'll probably come back randomly on its own. That's why I keep checking over here. So we got through the whole show last week, and both of them work, but so you can see here it doesn't even recognize the existence of the mic right now. So I can't, it's actually not the mic, to put it that way. I wish it was that simple, because if it was that simple, then I could just turn on the mic and it would be all magically fixed. Yeah. Oh, so I was saying, I don't know if you caught it, but I was saying the thing with the blue moon, okay? I mean, yes, there's movies that reference the blue moon. I don't recall it ever being referenced in the case of, like, for instance, I was saying that there is a thing called Purple Rain, right? There's a movie called Purple Rain, but Purple Rain does not reference rain that comes down purple on a regular basis. It's just a goofy name for a movie. So that's all I remember Blue Moon ever being, was just a goofy name for a movie. It didn't actually reference an actual specific moon that was named. It sounds a bit cryptic. Yeah, see, it's not the mic. That's why. Oh, you missed audio on the insect. Okay, so what I was saying basically was that this Markia hystrix, which is the one that Shari found, they have this super crappy photo of it, and one paragraph long, so it seems very strangely lack of information. And then they say, oh look, it gets confused with this other Markia, like other Markia species. So I click on Markia species, and I get even smaller paragraph, and it, shows another photo that's not black and white, looks exactly like the same one as the Markia hystrix, except for it's Markia arizi. Like, well, no wonder it gets confused. It looks exactly the same. And these ones are found in Mexico, Central America, and South America. So they're like everywhere. And now there's all these other ones. Espinachi. Let's just click on some of these and see what no images. Does not have an article with that name. It's interesting because it links to one. Let's try up here at this top. No article. Look at this. They have all these links to supposed. Okay, we have no article. So maybe I wasn't supposed to click on these because the reality hasn't written these yet. I mean, look at these. Are all clickable. Wiki does not have an article. So all of these are clickable and there's no article. So I don't know. Wiki has it. Our reality has not made these yet. It's made hystrix. Yeah, strange. So why have all this clickable, but then there's nothing? Yeah, once in a blue moon, right, Vivian? There's like once in a blue moon, but that meant like never. Once in a blue moon, or like it meant like it's not gonna happen because there's no blue moon. It's planned obsolescence. Yeah, yeah, I know. What happened on the Scarab performance show? As long as it doesn't flash a photo of Suso smoking and smiling at it. That happened on the Scarab show? That would be weird. Like his computer broke down and there was an image of Suso on it? Wikipedia. Yeah, Wiki is perfect for finding the official storyline of reality. I mean, if you're looking into any fishy stuff like conspiracy theory and stuff, obviously you wouldn't go to them. But new YouTube format is awkward. I don't know. This page is the same. So
it doesn't really affect me, I guess. Have I even looked at YouTube lately? You know what I hate about YouTube now? Well, I don't know, hate, but I don't like that it says videos and then live streams are separate. So people come to your channel and they're like, "Oh, you haven't done a video in like 6 months." And it's because you've done lives. And so there's a bunch of people where when they haven't put any new videos up, and then I realize that I have to click on something to see their live streams. This one I just put in because I keep seeing this thing and I can't figure out what it is. Scientists discover an extremely rare species of shark that's never before been spotted in Scottish waters and has an unusual shape. Jan Markham has the story, and then there's no story. And see, it loads forever, and this thing looks weird, and it says it's very weird looking. I mean, it's out of water. Is that why? But um, I want to see what it is, but I can't because it won't load. So I just thought I'd have that. It looks like it's a legit thing. USA Today is not like some trash magazine, so it's probably a real creature. But I'm wondering if this one is kind of coming into reality. That's why I put that one up there. Okay, so now let's get into your guys's. This one is from the Spiritual Scientist who commented on the channel, and they were talking about the Giza Plateau and the golf course. Now, I do remember there being a golf course, but when I went and clicked on it, I'm like, the golf course looks a lot bigger than I remember. I remember like a little course. But now it's like bigger than like a couple pyramids, this giant thing down here. I'm gonna do a search. I'm gonna go check and see if my mic has come back. Properties, microphone. No, it's so wrong. At least the video's still on, knock on wood. Alright, let's see what images we have. Oh, you know what I want is aerial. Well, we'll just take a peek at this first. It really does look to me like there has been additional encroachment of society. One thing I've really noticed is, although I've seen these like tomb thingies on the map, I do not recall actually seeing them on the aerial photos. And today they're very obvious. Like they look like at first I saw these like over here with that, like all these bumps, and I'm like, what? Have we got new pyramids or something? So all of a sudden you can see all these tombs that just showed up in the map like a couple years ago. Now they're visible. I don't know what all this is. And now they're starting to show all the housing and stuff around it. So it's all like weirdly bumpy. There's almost no area that isn't built up now. This area with all these plants, I don't remember all these plants. And there's a bunch of roads even on this side. This is the only side over here that doesn't have housing and structures. And now there's all these roads. So there's not, I remember a road coming in from like over here. I think it was this one maybe. But now there's all this roads out here. So there's no more desert really. There's no more sand dunes hardly. Because there's just like a few dunes, and then there's all these tombs and structures and roads. So, like those old images, if you look now, you can't really find them anymore. Because there's bumps everywhere, and rocks, and like that's all. Even here, you can see structures back there. So, all the images that we saw before are like gone now, basically. In the closeness of the structures. This one I keep looking at. I've been looking at these for a couple years. So unless it's changed, this is the structure that's in front of the pyramid. But every time I look at it, it makes it look like it's in the pyramid. And I'm just wondering if eventually it will be in the pyramid. I'm pretty sure this is still in the front of it, but you can see how it's easy to think that's in there. The other thing is this thing, I think this has gotten wider since last time. I thought there was only like one little opening. I don't remember all this peeled stuff. I don't remember these little statues here. It's like it's gotten bigger. And this is supposed to be old construction, but it really looks like crappy bathroom construction on the side of the freeway. I mean, frankly, it doesn't look like ancient at all. One thing that's been showing up on the Tartaria websites and advertising is that now buildings that are like this, that are supposed to be ancient Egyptian, it'll have a couple of these pillars and maybe like a picture of a winged god on here or something, and some pillars, and then like that. Some of this old stuff is just looking very simple, and it's looking very Roman, and they didn't used to look so Roman, and then you look at these old structures in Europe and stuff, and it looks exactly the same. Like it's so close to the same, you would think the same guy designed it, like almost identical. So now Tartaria theory is going crazy because they're like, look, this is ancient Egypt, this is France, this is Germany, all over the place. So these are like these old Egyptian ones are getting very Roman now and very simple. Now you think, well, maybe if you really looked at the techniques of the construction, and maybe the Egyptian ones are hewn from stone and the ones over in France are like plaster or something, but I don't know. All I can say is they look really, really, really similar. All right, I'm going to go over here and make sure you can still hear me. Yeah, no, if I remember right, that's old. Yeah, so they said something about there being an old temple in front of the Great Pyramid a long time ago, but it was sort of down, and there was just ruins, and it didn't really stick up, and it just kind of been building up and building up. Yeah, pyramids used to be way the hell out in the middle of nowhere. Exactly. It took hours to get to them from the city. Pretty soon people will be able to walk there from their backyards. Yeah, it really looks like it's only a couple blocks now. Like it looks like the city's here, and then there's tombs, and then there. So how much, like that's a car length, so that's like a couple blocks from here. All right, what I need to do is find Giza plateau. Aerial. Aerial. I don't know why I always have trouble spelling that. Okay, so here's what we're looking at here, because this is way bigger than I remember, or it's closer or something, but I don't remember it being. I remember there being a little green spot there that we said was a golf course, but maybe it was a driving range or something. It wasn't like 3 times larger than the pyramids themselves. And again, I don't remember all these being sticking up like this. So, it used to be that these 3 little pyramids here, and then the 3 over there, and then the 3 main big pyramids, that was kind of it around here. But look, they're lost in these bumps now. You barely even notice it because of all these tomb bumps, which are everywhere. And so I call no-nos. And look, there's a main road here, and there's another road here, there's a road here, there weren't like a billion roads. It looks like there's like, I don't know, is it me, or is there like light shade of green grass there? Maybe it's just the photo and weird lighting, but these are like surreal to me, frankly. It's just not. That is just not how it was. All those bumps. All right, I'm trying to find one that really shows this. It's interesting because they're really cutting off I found one earlier, but I'm now not seeing. This one helps a little. Very many images that show the green golf course. So these little dots are the pyramids, and look at the golf course and another golf course here. So this little white thing here, there seems to be some kind of cement roundabout or a building or something. That was not there last time I looked. I know that because it had this going around, but there was one clear view of desert, and that was always the argument. Well, they always take the photos from this angle to make them look like they're in the desert, and there was an area that was still desert, but there kind of isn't so much now because there's structures all in here and there's roads, and there isn't an area that's all desert. I mean, it's a little deserty still, but let's see, is that I'm trying to find it. It's interesting because I did find one earlier today at the other location. That might be it though. Let me just go to Google. As much as I hate to go to Google, but they do have the best image selection, even though it's still way crappier than the old days. They still have the better image selection options. Yeah, that one's a little better. Or not. Too small. I mean, look at that. That's the golf course now, and then there's another one out here. You can see all these tombs. There's no images without these raised tombs. There's the Sphinx. So I was looking at my indicator photos, and I do feel like the location of the Sphinx, or the location of the Great Pyramid behind the Sphinx, has shifted over this way a little bit. So when you look head on, it's a little more over to the side than it was before. You can see some of the tiny pyramids more in the background of it. Now, I think originally that Sphinx was really far away from the Great Pyramids, but it's been a while. So these have like popped up out of the ground though. That's the biggest one for me. These have all popped up. They were not visible other than on maps, so they were underground. All of this too. And now they all stick up. It's actually pretty creepy. I wonder if there's, I really should check to see if there's any close images of those. Let's see, Giza Plateau 2. Let's go there. What do those things look like up close? Maybe that one. Okay, so I guess that's it. Now, does anybody remember all this, like, stuff? Like, actually seeing it above ground? So I don't really see any images where it's not above ground. I mean, they couldn't have dug all those out in a year, could they have? Here's, looks like pretty old. The heck? Yeah, see, that even this old photo shows all that stuff. I don't know what these things are. The fourth pyramid of Giza, inconspicuous pyramid of Kent cows. What the heck is that? So what? Are we getting a fourth one growing up out of the ground here? I don't recall ever seeing that. It does look again like a bathroom with two doors, one for men, one for women. The Pyramid of Kentkaus, or Step Tomb of Kentkaus, is a 4th dynasty two-step tomb built for the Queen Mother of Kentkaus. Okay. Has a two-step superstructure which cannot properly be classified either as a mastaba or as a pyramid. Salim Hassan compared it to Djoser's step pyramid. Alright, where is it compared to the others? That one, there's the three booby. Is it this thing? Geez, look at this thing, how it's built up next to, the Sphinx is getting, like, thrown to the side of the road here. Check this out. Das Pyramidenfeld. So I guess that's German for the pyramids of Giza. The pyramid field. Wow. Step tomb of Kent House. Has anybody even heard of that thing? Alright, so there it is. Now, it's interesting because it looks fairly tiny, but they're calling it the fourth pyramid here. I'm wondering if it's going to get bigger. Maybe that's just the starting seed of it. Okay, there's Giza. Okay, well, there you go. Actually, I'm looking at that. You still have this angle. Yeah, you're asking why the third pyramid's so small. So for me, there was originally a big center pyramid, and then two smaller ones. But then now we have there's two big ones that are almost the same size and one smaller one. Now you did bring up a good question. Is that third one smaller? Then it does look maybe a little smaller than last time I looked at it. Now that you mention it, it looks a little more like out there too, doesn't it? I remember they were kind of like these two lined up and then one offset. Is it less offset than I remember? It doesn't look very offset, is why. So they said it mirrored some constellation and blah blah blah. It just doesn't look very offset. So did the constellation change and then that had to change to mirror the... Oh, yeah, look at that. It's not very offset anymore. That one's tiny. Let me find another one. I don't know. You're right. It does look. It's like. I mean, this was always the smaller one, but it looks smaller. And something. You can really see how big that this golf course got too. So I remember there being a little golf course here, but not like this. Like there was a green spot, and they said it was a golf course, and I took their word for it, but it didn't scream golf course. But now you can see the sand traps and the lines for where people are supposed to walk, and it's just way bigger. So either the pyramids got smaller or this sucker got bigger, and I'm actually not sure which. Look, this little finger coming out over here. I think this is new over here too. Basically, the city is coming in like fingers. And somewhere over here was that weird circle thing. That is. Yeah, election year fear porn. We're gonna have to be really careful because apparently YouTube has got all kind of new laws on what you can say, what you can't say, and you can't go against what was it the CDC or somebody, like you can't say anything that is not in there. So you can't give like misinformation about treatments either. So, like, if you said, oh, take the nay paste or get sunlight, you would not be allowed to say that those things had anything to do with any kind of treatments of any particular thing, like illness or something. So you can't even say it. So it seems like they've actually gotten tighter on a bunch of stuff. And I actually got a notification that I could take a class because I got a strike before by saying certain opinions about certain medical things that I did not want to get, and I got a strike and they took down my whole show. And that strike sticks on there. But they now said if you take this BS class that they're running that tells you what you're allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say, then you can get one of your strikes removed 90 days later. And I probably will take that just so I can know what the latest total, it's going to be hard not to swear, rules are so that I will get another effing strike. Trying to think good thoughts right now, but sometimes it's a little harder than other times. Did those freaky pyramid stairs in front of the Liberty statue? You mean the Statue of Liberty? All right, let's check that business out. Oh, what did you call the stairs? Pyramid stairs. Pyramids? Is that what you said? Yeah, pyramid stairs. All right. Yeah, this is a good time to check the statue, isn't it? Pyramid stairs. Oh, you mean those things that were... Okay. So here we are at the bottom. And that's the bottom of what is now the starport that started as a big pedestal. I noticed now that it's very brick-like in here. It started as kind of a smooth-walled pedestal thing, and now it looks like the same stuff as the pedestal, the real pedestal. So it developed these little cutouts. Now I see that the cutouts have an additional door cutout in it. I think, didn't I say last time I didn't remember all that grass in front either? Like, it used to just be a little bit. Now, wait. Is that right? Did this just get, like, way shorter right here? Didn't this used to go up a lot more? Is that looking way short? I feel like that is, like, I'm feeling like the pedestal got short. Y'alls. All right, now I think that's the pyramid stairs. We have seen those before. I did call those a Mandela like a year ago or something when I saw them. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's seeing them for the first time. Now, what's looking weird to me is this pedestal now just looks a lot shorter than I recall last time. It looks very diminished. What is the height? There, this is the image we always look at. Oh, so tidy. That's the image we always look at, but now it is. It's interesting because it says it's 379 by 514, but when I click on it, it's 193 by 262. Why is it that it is giving me? So it used to be I'd click on that and then I would find there. All right, so all right, so 300 feet all the way to the ground. I think it was like 300 feet from this part up before. That's only 100. I think 150. Yeah. I think that this pedestal here was bigger. Something just looks off. This looks really um diminished. Just this part right here. I think the 300 feet used to be like from here to here instead of here to here. That's what's so sneaky about this image is that just every time there's a shift, it just sticks the arrow in another spot. Like, why would they be measuring this bit to here instead of this bit? I mean, wouldn't you just measure like all the metal or all the idea was of the Edouard de Lablaya, a French liberal, hoped by honoring the achievements of Americans he could inspire the French. I don't remember that name, Edouard de Lablaya. All right, there's the Auguste Bartholdi. That's the guy. I just don't remember this Edward person. There is a Liberty poem called New Colossus engraved on a plaque at the base of the statue. There is a. Have we ever seen that before? What is this poem that they do speak of? Do you recall there being a poem on the Statue of Liberty called The New Colossus? It is a sonnet by American poet Emma Lazarus. She wrote the poem in 1883 to raise money for the construction of a pedestal. In 1903, the poem was cast onto a bronze plaque and mounted inside the pedestal's lower level. The New Colossus. Has anybody ever heard of that? The text of the poem, not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, conquering limbs astride from land to land. Not like that. Here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuge of your teeming shore, send these the homeless tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. You know, I remember give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. Wasn't that on the wasn't that on the thing that Statue of Liberty held in her hand? That whatever it used to be like a book, but I think now it's a slate. Because this is not what. So what is on in her hand then that she holds? Hmm. Something seems a bit differently. Yeah. So yeah, there is a poem. I feel like we're living in the Man in the High Castle series. Yeah, I don't know. You just gotta laugh. Alex Collier and Dan Winter both talk about Hale-Bopp as a draconian Orion protocol ship. I don't know. I think was that channeler dude Bashar. He has announced that there's a 95% chance that we'll get like some kind of really obvious alien contact in like 2026 2027 range. I mean, I don't know, everybody's talking about aliens all the time, so if talking about it makes it come true, then probably we'll get it at this rate. They gave the remote control for this world to a toddler. I think so. I remember it with no pedestal section, much lower. All right, so for me, it's been kind of building up. First, it got that star-shaped pedestal, then that turned into a fort, then it got a couple more layers over here, then the top piece got higher and higher, but now that top piece went down, looks like to me again. It looks so weird again. Yes, Shari agrees it got shorter. Okay, you see new cutouts. I do remember these cutouts here. I have, but not way long time ago. I have mentioned before that these cut out and they look different, don't they? Don't they look different now? They look different now. On let me see if I can get a better image of these. You just can't make this stuff up. Which one should I open? Decisions. Okay, we'll close you. Yeah, so these looks a little different in here, like plainer or something. That is a crappy image. Trying to get a feel for it here. More loading. I'm not going to wait for that one. Alright, this one's nice. Yeah, so I feel like this is kind of interesting because right in here there's some jaggedy parts. I don't remember. Alright, so how I remember this is this lower area for a long time looked different than here, but it now looks like very similar construction. It's matchy now. These parts, interestingly, then look newer, and then we got old again. So that's a little bit strange. When you think about it, that's all strange because I mean, this all had to be built before that. Why would this? It's just wrong. Something ain't right. Okay, so these cutouts showed for me a couple years ago, and then this one, what about a year? But they've changed a few times. This whole thing in here is looking different for me. There's all these weird windows. They look very newish. This stuff showed up a while ago, and I think now that I'm really looking at it, it's like stairs. I mean, I guess it always had to have been, but I wasn't really sure what that was. You can see, like, you know what's different is before I never saw that there's clearly railings here. So maybe it's before you weren't allowed to go up here, but now you can. There's a ton of people going up these stairs. Uh, then if you didn't go up this way, how did you go up before? Maybe somebody who was there in another timeline could tell me. She's looking kind of dirty in that image. It's all like, there's like, it looks like she's all smoked up on the edges on these now. Yeah, the bottom used to be more. Yeah, now that I think about it, it always was a little weird because the bottom looked newer than the top, and now it matches. I guess you all saw that bloke with the old Motorola seeing the old reality. You know, that was an old one that was on here, and it was debunked by a lot of people as fairly easily done with video editing. Nobody's been able to replicate it. I really am. It's not like done by any of people that we know. So I'm really suspicious about that one. Now, who knows? Maybe it's true in some timelines, but I'm very. It's so easy to fake that stuff. Okay, well, yeah. Anyway, I do think that pedestal is shorter. Let's see what we got now. I ran into this one. Let's see, what the heck is this thing? I feel like this maybe deserves more. I feel like I'm missing something on here. It's all sooty. Does this? I'm wondering. This this looks more frilly to me or something or nicer. Didn't it look kind of skanky before? It looks nice now. This scroll work up here. And then with this higher extra railing, which would be logical. I do think this has changed. I also don't remember this looking like a really nice ceiling light fixture right here. You know how they have those canopy kits for putting your ceiling light attached to the ceiling? It looks just like one of those, and I don't remember it having that. So I think this area has changed with this railing. All right through here, that it looks like there's a little braid or rope or some kind of a little lace thing or hair tie that goes right through here. I do not remember that being there. It was really kind of simplistic in there, and it's a little bit less. Um, you can see the black tarnish on her here. That was not like that before. Smoke tarnish or something. This is from the back. All right, that's a different one. So let's say that pedestal's way lower. Yes, it's not the Statue of Liberty. Okay. I notice there's not a lot of images that show the whole thing. And I kind of feel like when that happens, it's like hiding. This is a nice image. Don't make me angry. Come on, load. There. Yeah, that's one of the things I think I noticed last time. All of this green. Don't remember there being like a red brick circle around it either. The island itself is a lot nicer than it was when I was first seeing it. Didn't say that. Yeah, that's weird. So, like, a whole bunch of states voted to cancel daylight savings time, but then after we voted and everybody's like, yeah, they're going to do it, then they started saying, oh, well, the federal has to approve it or we can't do it. But that wasn't what we were told when we were voting. I mean, so that's weird. They say they will cancel it every year in Canada, but never does. I think once maybe if we stop shifting all over the place, then it can get canceled. But it feels like they're kind of need that to kind of hide a bunch of stuff. That's kind of my feeling on it. Like the reality needs it to hide its shifting. All right, so that's not the real one. Let's look at the face. All right, and I'm not going to YouTube. All right, I could look at this all day, but here we go. I am going to check and see if I've got my mic back. See there, Yeti microphone is now back. Dare I trust it? I'm going to have to check you often to make sure that my... Testing, there we go. Okay, so it didn't work. All right, I didn't say anything exciting because I was already not trusting it. That was weird because it was just kind of bopping there, like it had some sound, but this line is supposed to jump as I talk, and it wasn't doing it. So it's now showing the mic, but it is not. So it doesn't want to. Yeah, I might as well just move the mic then. Maybe that's the universe telling me to move it to work or something. Because if the mic is not going to work here, then what's the point of having the mic here? And then the big question is, can I get it to work at work? It could be nice. So I could put up a nice backdrop. I think you can get a backdrop for like $20. All right. if I can get OBS Studios to work. I don't even know how I got it work this time, so that's kind of the question. All right. Yeah, so what I'm using right now is because the Yeti is not, the computer does not seem to be speaking with the Yeti. I think it's the computer's fault. I don't think it's the Yeti. Um, I am using the mic that's inside the computer, so it's just some crappy. Well, it shouldn't totally suck because it's a good quality computer, but yeah, I'm thinking though, if I can't trust the mic, maybe that's the universe telling me to take the mic to work and set up work from work, and then I won't have to rush home. It would be better if I can get OBS Studios to work. I think the universe is trying to tell me. Okay, let's get my brain to function again here. Use the plateau done. Okay, this one I just ran into. So I guess a bunch of birds kind of took a page from lizards, and they'll just drop their tail feathers if they're attacked. A lot of birds apparently can do this. I've never heard of this, but if you scare a bird, apparently they'll just drop all their tail feathers. And a lot of the birds will do this, and they're saying that like parrots and stuff also could do it, but they're usually not scared enough, and they'll just bite you instead. So the idea is that if a predator is attacking them, then it might just get like a claws and face full of feathers, and the bird will just plop all of its back tail feathers out, and then they'll be naked on their butt. And like these diamond doves apparently are famous for it. Then they're being all kind of cagey on which birds can and can't do it. This is in the laughing dove. So they're basically saying these doves are known for it, but other birds can do it too. When a hawk is about to capture a songbird, the songbird has one last trick, a fright molt, when a bird loses feathers due to sudden stress. This usually involves feathers near the tail or rump, which they are most likely to be attacked as they flee. It can be a saving grace when the bird is about to be caught, similar to a lizard dropping its tail. There's a downside, having your tail scared off. A tail helps the bird balance in flight. So they said that it's a little harder for them to fly if they've lost all their tail. So here's one. Have you ever seen any of these songbirds missing a whole tail, just hanging out like everything's totally fine? Because I sure as heck have never seen that. Here's one. I'm suspicious in the old days whether they could have flied okay without their whole tail. But apparently in this reality, it's doable. So they must drop them all at once then if they're using it. Looks like that one's faked. There's all these images of these tailless birds, and then they said it'll grow back. So they're just going to have some problems flying perfectly if they lose their tail. I've just never seen this. I've never heard of it. They're all vague about which birds could do it. This is a little interesting. They're saying it has something to do with muscles. God, suddenly there's a huge ringing in my ears, like a huge ringing. It's like a huge tinnitus thing. Wow, it was just really loud. Kind of a, huh. Okay, one of the things we do to see if birds are stressed is if the feathers on the head raise. Birds move individual flight feathers, fanning them to increase the surface area of the wing. The bones of the wing manage the large-scale movements, but the bird does a lot of fine-tuning by moving the individual feathers. All right, so they're basically saying that each feather has its own muscle. Birds have specialized sensory feathers called phyloplumes that allow the bird to sense the position of adjacent feathers. These seem to be mostly related to flight because flightless birds lack them. Phyloplumes let the bird sense the position of its feathers and may also help the bird detect airspeed when flying. All right, I'm trying to find this fear molt thing. All right, so each follicle grips the base of its feather with muscles to prevent the feather from falling out. So each hair follicle has muscles. Sometimes stressed birds relax those muscles, causing them to lose some feathers in a fright molt. This may even be adaptive if you're scared, but because, say, a cat has grabbed your tail, it might be a good idea to drop those tail feathers and escape. The follicles are connected via a network of tiny muscles in the skin. These muscles are what allow the bird to move its feathers. All right, so each hair has its own follicle muscles, which can be relaxed. Have you ever heard of this? Y'all thoughts on why that happens, the sudden ringing thingy? Yeah, I don't know, but I have noticed it more lately. Lizards were the only ones that used to drop their tails. Yeah, and that's been a case for a long time, but I do remember way back when I was a kid, I had not heard of that lizard thing. I know it's been around a long time, but way back. I'm not sure if that's been there like since 1970, that tail dropping. Yeah, it's just my ears are just, it's tiled back a little, but it's pretty darn loud right now. Eva's analysis of the Statue of Liberty reminds me of the manipulation tactic of incrementalism. Yeah, that's a good word for it. What the reality changes will usually go by incrementalism when possible. Although it's not always in the same direction. So like the pedestal get bigger, then it'll get smaller, smaller. So it's like some things do not keep going in the same direction. And that's one of the reasons I wonder if we just jump timelines and stuff. The cat begins to be. I've seen a lot of weird cat ones. There's been a lot of dog ones where they sit up and like move like humans lately too. Apparently dogs have gotten better. Look, all the animals. I've had that on before. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. They're definitely sneakier than they used to be. Shift underway, maybe. I don't know. That's not really a symptom for me for shifting. Um, computer problems, but it's usually delays, like worse computer problems that I'm having now. Feeling really tired, and I have been kind of crabby today, so maybe, I don't know, but the computer hasn't. Well, it's been a little bit today. I don't know. All right, where am I? Oh, this one. All right, so the Giza Plateau giant golf course was the spiritual scientist. I found the Fright molt. This one was found by Mark Pius. I don't know why this one. Have you ever heard of hair splinters? Hair splinter. I've heard of getting poked by really thick hairs, like certain dog breeds have short, thick hairs. It would poke you. But I've never actually heard of the hair going like into you. So apparently now the hairs can poke like a hole into you. And I don't really get how it did that. Like, there shouldn't, hairs aren't, like, your hair on your head, it doesn't act like a splinter. Have you ever heard of it being a splinter? Sometimes a stray strand can just burrow its way into your skin. It's a phenomenon known as a hair splinter. I mean, have you ever heard of anything like that? I mean, look at this. Look at this image. There's a hair that's here, and then it goes way down into his skin over. How did this hair just keep burrowing and burrowing? I mean, how? My toe felt really weird and tingly at work a couple of days ago. When I got home, I took on my shoes. I found a giant hair had wiggled its way in the toe. Hairstylists say, oh, these are hair splinters, are old hat. Someone hold me. I can't be the only one who hasn't heard of a hair splinter, one person wrote. Hairstylist here. This is all the time. Others chimed in today say that sometimes they got hair splinters from their pets. It turns out their hair splinters can be actually serious. There's an article about two doctors who said that hair splinters can lead to infected wounds, pain, and chronic drainage. I'm like, what? I guess I can maybe kind of see like a dog hair, like I'm thinking of Dalmatians. My friend had a Dalmatian. They have very short, coarse hair, and then it falls out into the couch, and they do shed a lot, even though they're small ones, they're short ones, they shed. And they get in the couch, and then they kind of stick up. Some of them will kind of spear into the couch, and then you sit down, and so it'll poke you. Okay, and so he had to be like, no dog allowed on the couch because of the pokey hairs. But none of those times did he get any poke into his flesh and stay. That's the creepy part here. So YouTube is saying that if you get a hair splinter and say this is the splinter sticking out, that you take like a kind of slightly serrated but not too sharp knife and you scrape gently the opposite direction of the splinter, and that's supposed to yank it out. Although if you have it in that far, like that one image, I don't see how that's going to fix it. I just don't understand how the hair just keeps going and going and going. Like, I just don't get it. Ooh, that one went under the fingernail. So, to be clear, these are not hairs that originated there. They came loose from somewhere and then impaled the person. So like here, this is a splinter. It goes all the way in. I just don't get how it keeps going in after the first. I don't know. Anyway, anybody, I mean, hairstylists, you know these things? Parrots don't get scared as other birds. Yeah, I don't know. So I feel like they're setting it up to say that parrots can lose all their tail feathers. But instead they just bite your butt most of the time. Let's see. So I was on last week, and I felt like there was a shift last week. A lot of Mandelas, but then it's dead this week. But sometimes it like I don't know what it is. There's signs of shift. People feel crappy. The computer acts up, and then like a week or two later, you start to see a whole bunch of Mandelas show. So I don't feel like I saw many Mandela shows this time. Although some of these are kind of interesting, but maybe I'm just stupid today because actually I'm really looking at these and there are kind of some neat ones. So this one is from Mark Tyus. Have you guys ever heard how to put a lobster to sleep? Because apparently, you know how the old saying that I don't even know if it's true anymore, that if you lay a alligator and rub his little tummy, if he's upside down, and then he'll get sleepy. And then there's some kind of yammer about sharks showed up. Well, apparently lobsters. Actually, I'm looking at my list, and there are some interesting ones. So maybe we did have a shift. I don't know. It seems like they're getting too close together to keep track of them anymore. So you can put a lobster to sleep by you put them like on their head, and then you like rub their top of their abdomen basically. Um this guy's doing it. Let's see. I think she had a video. I'll go see her video real quick. Oh, no, there it is. I know I just saw it earlier. Whoa, I just saw that video of her doing that. All right. This is how you hypnotize. So apparently we can like hypnotize them first before boiling. Have you ever heard of any magical
We've been told you can put lobster to sleep. We're gonna give it a rip right now.
Technique?
Ready, Big?
Stop. Turn off you. Alright, so he gets them. This is not the best quality video, obviously. Basically, you put them on their little heads like this, and then you rub their backs like this. You rub them until they calm down, and then they fall asleep like that. That's the story. And I don't know whether you throw them in the pot real fast. I didn't actually check that part, but that's apparently how you put them to. So they'll say they're crawling all around and just escaping, and then you can like put them like that, and then don't make too much noise, and then they're hypnotized asleep. Has anybody heard of this? By putting them on their head, like I have yet to see an explanation of how or why that would work anywhere. If you've heard anything, let me know. Oh, this looks like there's 2 ways to put them to sleep. Let's see. This may not be the sleeping kind. So I guess they're claiming they put them to sleep before killing them. You stand the live lobster on its head and rub between the eyes up and down constantly. This puts it in a hypnotic state that will leave it standing on its head without you folding it. Alright, so anybody ever heard of that? So we did the chicken line thing where you draw a line, and that showed up, what, a year or 2 ago? You know it's sleeping because before they do it, it's like, and trying to crawl off. And then when you start to putting it on its head, now some of these guys are kind of listless, so they probably weren't in good shape, but some of them are really pretty clacky and like quit it. And then they put it on its head and they do that, and then it stops doing all of the clacking and it just sits there and it doesn't move. And then from what I saw, if you then make a loud noise, it'll sort of be like, what? And then it'll start clacking around again. So can he make the lobster drop its tail? That would actually be kind of good if they would just drop them on their own, and then we could take those and eat them, and it could just grow another one. You'd feel less bad for the lobster. Like, okay, just drop your tail once in a while, and then I'll feed you so you can grow another one. Alright, so you can hypnotize lobsters and hair splinters. So Mark Titus, those are 2 very good finds. Alright, I have 1 left. We've got about 10 minutes, so that works out. This one was from 2 weeks ago. I was going to try to squeeze it in last week, but I ran out of time. This is from 2009 Biker Babe, and she's come up with some ones in the past, so she's been around for a while. Do you remember, I mean, there's a bunch of weird bird molting ones. That was last week. This week. Do you remember blue jays having a bald head stage? Blue jay. So we had lots of blue jays where I grew up. And we'd see them all the time. We're in the yard all the time. And it's ironic that it's blue jays of all the birds, because my mother had a special hate vendetta against blue jays. They were just... they're pretty birds, but they are troublesome. They show up at the crack of dawn and caw in your window. They harass the dog. They poke the other birds. They're just little buttheads. Apparently now they're not just buttheads, they're bald heads. They have a bald head. Oh man, that ringing just came back like times 10. That's crazy. You know, I always have tinnitus, but it's usually not so loud that it totally is distracting. Bald stage of a molting blue jay. I never saw a bald-headed blue jay my entire childhood. And they're pretty ugly. Look at them fangs. Look at that head. I have to say that the coloration on the blue jay has improved rather dramatically. They were blue, but now they have like all these little segments and everything. It almost looks like little roof tiles. So they are styling. We didn't have the roof tile styling blue jays. We just had ordinary blue colored blue jays. Bald blue jays may start showing up at your feeder. So I lived what used to be Northern California, and now Silicon Valley is almost in central, I mean, you could argue it's central Cali, but it used to be Northern Cali before it slid down the coast. So I think they still call it Northern California, although it's central. Like, Cali is so weird now because there's like half of the state is called Northern California, and then a little bit is Central, and then a little bit is South. Because all that crap at the top, it just keeps growing, and the bottom keeps shrinking. But people living there don't change what they call their area, so that's why it doesn't make sense anymore. The bird is the common northern blue jay. For most of the year, this Maine songbird can be easily recognized by its intense blue body with black. Maybe we didn't have this blue jay. Maybe it's only in Maine. So in the fall, it molts and then it's bald. Wouldn't you want to do that in the summer? It's kind of getting cold in the fall. Many species of songbirds in Maine are molting to make room for new ones. For most of these birds, they lose the feathers a few at a time, but northern blue jays lose all of its head feathers at once. It's natural and not an indication of an unhealthy bird. Molting takes a lot of birds' energy. That's why most of them do it several or even one at a time. All of the body feathers on the wing and tail can take a long time to grow in. All of its head feathers grow from a single tract, so when one falls out, they all fall out. Leave it temporarily bald. So the new rule is if the feathers all grow on the same tract, they all have to fall out at once. The blue jay, the head feathers are called the capital tract. He said this time of year, Audubon receives reports about the bald blue jays that people fear are sick. All right, so if you guys all see a bunch of bald blue jays, that's just the latest thing. All right, that is it for me, though. Is anybody old enough to remember Kojak? Yes. Zomjay. I'm wondering if there's just more kinds of blue jay, because I really don't remember that, like, tile pattern blue jay. I've never seen that before until recently. I think I saw it like about a year ago. I started seeing them all styling like that. Every time the fear porn train starts rolling, that is just one example of why I shouldn't take this reality so effing seriously. I do agree with that. I think that that is the way to roll with it, is to not get sucked in. You know, and I'm like listening to spiritualists, and like you read the Bible, it says fear not in the Bible in like a jillion places. I think Scarab Performance had this on recently, that it says fear not, fear not, fear not all the time in there. Like, first of all, fear is kind of useless 99% of the time because you can't do anything about it. Like, so you're going to fear something for weeks and months and months and months, and it's still not going to help you any if the thing really happens. Most of the time, it doesn't even happen, so you end up fearing stuff for months and years, and then it never happens anyway. So all of that fear was a useless energy drain. And then if it happens, usually you couldn't have, all that fear was still useless. So you might as well just wait and see if it actually happens, because only 1% of the time is it even going to happen. Then go ahead and get scared like right before. But like, if a dog is chasing you and it's trying to bite you, that's a good time to be scared. You need that adrenaline to jam it into your muscles, to run faster and, jump over a fence or smack it or whatever you got to do. But 99% of the stuff we fear all the time is just, it's not helping at all anyways. And I really feel like it just kind of sucks the life out of us, all this fear porn all the time. And even if it does happen, there's usually either it's not that bad as we thought, it's just inconvenience, it's sucky, you lost your job, or something, but then you get another one. Most of the time, it's not as bad as you thought. Most of the time, there's loopholes to get around it. So it's just not worth it. And, there's like 100 different fear porns running at any one time. There's oh, the COVID's going to kill you. The New World Order is going to kill you. Bill Gates is going to kill you. Murder hornets are going to kill you. Solar flares. There's an endless supply of these. There's like a new one every week that's going to kill you. Hair of the dog splinter. Yeah, I mean, has anybody ever even had a hair splinter? I mean, I just can't even imagine it. Even having pets most of my life, my friends having pets, coarse-haired animals. There's now I sometimes working with the horses. They have coarse little hairs. Um, it's just never even heard of it. And like an actual human hair, I just can't imagine one of those things attacking. So what got changed? I mean, the skin. What the skin is more allowing more stuff in. The hair got stronger. Yesterday, my niece got a fish in a restaurant in Spain, and the fish had a real big pearl in its mouth. A pearl. Now, I thought clams are supposed to have pearls, not fish. That is strange. Fish. Now I'm kind of curious. Fish with pearl in mouth. Only got a few more minutes, but might as well check. Fish with pearl in mouth. Flower horn cichlid. Noted for their colors. Pearly jawfish species. Alright, let's see. Do fish have pearls? Do fish create pearls? Mollusks make pearls as protection. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oysters not the only ones who make pearls. Alright, so now they're saying bivalves make pearls. So it's not just oysters. So they're probably saying scallops and stuff. Let's see. How do oysters make pearls? Huh. So I can only think of a couple things there. It is possible now to buy really cheap freshwater pearls. Like they're literally like you can get a pearl for 10 cents. It's crazy to think that they used to be so expensive, but and they're real pearls, and they seed them. I don't understand how they could be that cheap, but apparently they can. They have farms of these, and I guess they don't have to actually feed them, and they just insert little like starter circle pellets in there, and then some of the nacre, which is that natural clam shiny stuff, grows around it, and then they withdraw them. And so, like, here's an example of them. And as you can see, they make a whole bunch of them. And so they're pretty cheap. So it could be that the restaurant just did that to, like, make you feel special. Like, they just popped it in there. And even if you didn't find it, hey, it's 10 cents. What do they care, right? That could be it. Somebody could have been messing with you by doing that same thing. Maybe it wasn't the restaurant planning that. Or it's just some freaky Mandela reality thing that's going to show up later. The reality is messing with you. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out that fish make pearls like in a year and you're starting early. I mean, why the heck not? It wouldn't be, it by far would not be the weirdest thing that has happened. that fish would make pearls. The story behind the fish pearl. All right, there's a giant pearl that mimics a fish. A coin in the fish's mouth. Oh yeah, I think I remember that story. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not finding anything. Um, hmm. Yeah, but you can get like really big ones. And a lot of times what they do is they put a little plastic ball inside the clam. And then in a year it makes some of the nacre around it. But it's not like nacre all the way down to the center. And I offhand don't know a way to test that other than to break it open, which you're not going to want to do. Because I used to work in bead, in the Indian store in the bead industry, and we would get a whole strand of these, and they were even drilled, and the whole strand would only be a couple dollars. So you can only imagine that's very inexpensive. They cooked what they caught in front of you. So I am pretty sure that heat won't hurt a pearl, at least not the amount of heat you need to cook a fish. So they could still stuff it in there before they cooked it. Still, it is weird. I agree. And they say that I have heard that Muslim countries love pranking, like kind of good natured, but and comedy and having a good laugh and like that too. So, I don't know. I mean, I obviously you know that kind of stuff more than me, but I mean, it doesn't sound like it would be on the logic to think that somebody might be having some good fun. But yeah, I do, I even after everything I've seen, there's still the logical part of me that does think about it. But then, I agree though that it is strange. I mean, not saying that can't have an explanation, but it is very interesting. There's something fishy. She was in Spain. Yeah, I don't know a lot about Spain. I mean, I know Mexicans here are pretty, they like that kind of stuff too. So I don't know. Maybe most countries do that. Isn't America? I don't know Spain personality and cultural behaviors as much though. Yeah, I don't know. Put a pearl in fish's mouth. Put a pearl. No. I'll have to look that up and see if that's even a thing. Who knows? Maybe it's some weird cultural thing. All I'm finding is a coin in the fish's mouth, not a pearl. Huh? I don't know. It is strange. I would assume that she showed it to them, and they're like, "Huh? Yeah, maybe the fish swallowed it." I guess there's a tiny chance, but it would be in the mouth. It would be in the stomach if the fish ate it. I mean, fish do not like keep stuff in their mouth. If they either swallow that thing or they spit it out. I guess what it got stuck. I mean, I guess I've never seen a fish get anything stuck though. They're really good at they can suck in that water through the back gills and they can reverse pretty good. So I find it hard to quite imagine that. All right. Well, anyway, I gotta run because my time is up. So thanks. I was gonna say I had no computer problems because in the beginning everything was fine, but I might have cursed myself. So I don't know. I might have to switch over to the work computer or something. I'm hoping that I can get it to work over there. All right. Anyways, thank you all for coming. Appreciate it very much. You know the drill. Think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.